Is Bailey Smith just a permanent vice captain in AFL fantasy? Well, this game against Western Bulldogs definitely proved to me, at least, that he's putting up scores that aren't going to be ultra damaging as a VC, I would say, or a non-VC to those that didn't in fantasy. As a 126, it's a good score, but it's not that sort of 150, 160. That's the deal breaker. You may burn 15 points, 10 points on a VC, etc. But you're not going to burn too many points, I don't think, especially with the Rucks having some of the games that they have at the moment where there's 140s, 150s, 160s flying around. But anyway, before we jump into this game recap of Geelong's win over Western Bulldogs, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. If you are listening on Spotify, give me a follow and a rating over there. And let's jump into this recap. So, Geelong Cats beat the Western Bulldogs and show their true, just, I guess, professionalism, especially without Dangerfield. I know that Western Bulldogs didn't have Darcy, but if you look at the outs, they're almost sort of similar. And the Western Bulldogs hit the post about 5 times. So they could have easily burnt Geelong Cats. They had 33 shots to 27 and lost by 14. So anyway, let's jump into this game. Bailey Smith, 126, 118 splits, 33 touches, 4 marks, 7 tackles, 12 contested possessions, 6 clearances, 7 clangers, 51% disposal efficiency, 87% time on ground. What could have been, and I'm telling you right now, he was on 50-30 split or something like that, 50-20 split. This could have easily been a 160 Supercoach game for the output that he put in fantasy-wise, but he just butchered the ball. He was on 18 or 20% disposal efficiency in like the first quarter. He was butchering it, but then he basically in the second half came out and really did a lot of work. I think his last quarter for Supercoach would have been at least about a 50 or so. He had in total a 33-point last quarter, and it was on 56% disposal efficiency, 3 contested possessions, and only a single turnover. I don't know about the clangers in that quarter. And then in the third quarter, he had 29 touches, 38% disposal efficiency, 4 contested possessions, 1 turnover. In the second quarter, he had 83% disposal efficiency, but only 6 touches and 1 contested. But the first quarter, he had 10 touches at 40% with 4 contested possessions, but 3 turnovers. So he definitely could have been a lot better, I feel like, in terms of his efficiency, which would have been massive in terms of Supercoach. Max Holmes, absolutely smashing it. His goal that he kicked was mega, and that I think that goal alone had about 15 points riding on it because he took 3 bounces, as well as it being in crunch time, or at least was considered crunch time. So yeah, he went mega. 117, 128 splits, 33 touches, 5 marks, 3 tackles, and a goal and 17 contested possessions. You'd expect him to probably get a 2 or 1 vote game here, I would expect. Graham Myers, 23, 9 and 4. He was pretty big. Tom Atkins as well. I think he's one of the best, and this probably going to sound rude, but he's one of the best role players in the league, I would say, at least, because he's one of those guys that sort of just gets the job done nonchalant, ends up with 12 tackles. He was on like 7 halfway through the second quarter. He was on a mega run with tackles. And he just does his job, and he limited the Dogs midfield, and that's all that he needs to do, because he knows that Max Holmes and Bailey Smith, if you can get them the ball, they had 66 between them. Pretty sure they would have had something close to probably 15 score involvements between them. Don't know exactly, but I can probably try and bring that up for you. Bailey Smith had 7 and the goal assist. Max Holmes had 7 as well. So they had 14 between them and kicked a goal and had a goal assist, you know, and Tom Atkins just does the dirty work, gets the job done, and is probably unheralded for it. But he was mega last night. Jeremy Cameron kicked 6 goals, 14 touches, so he's just mega efficient. He also had a goal assist with the Shannon Neal goal, one of his 5. So yeah, those two are just working really well. Sean Manor as well, an underrated player. 2 goals, 1 for him, 21 touches, just gets it done. And 10 contest possessions. Stanley had a decent game. Tom Stewart had a really good return game as well, 92 for him. So he was really, really good, 21 touches, 9 marks. Don't want to go there just yet because he's still got time to bottom out, but could be a really, really, really cheap option. I don't know what his price is in Supercoach or Fantasy, but let's just double check that. If we go to Stewart here, let's just check out Stewart here. 436k, 126 break even, and I'm pretty sure I just saw that he scored a 98. So let's put that into the calculator here. If he scores a 98, He goes down to, what's that, 423k, and then has a breaker even of, I don't think it's going to be 121. I don't think that would be the case, but it might be. But then if he scores, say, I think it's an 83. But if he scores, say, another 95, let's just check that out. He goes back up. So you could be getting him somewhere post, well, he has around 16 buy, but if he scores, say, and let's just put in a 98 this whole time, and project, you could get him easily post buy for about 470 or so. So yeah, even if he scores 100s, etc. So yeah, I think he's a guy that you should be just watching out for. I don't think he's going to do anything crazy, but if he does start to go and have a different role, he could be one that goes off the chain. Shannon Neal had a really good game, but outside of that, nothing really relevant. For those that went Jed Buse, this is why you sort of don't go for these type of guys that are inflated in price at this point. Because one bad game and he hasn't exactly stalled his cash gen, I would say, but it's just kind of lost, not relevance, I would say, but also just he's only going to gain, I think, 25k. If we go, what was it, 46, I want to say. If we go and say he's got a 46 on him, he gains 35k, then 5, then 6, then 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 1. So you've basically already got, in the next, if we look at it, basically 10 rounds, his cash generation, out of the cash generation he's made, he's going to get up to, in round 21, 231k. So that is about 60k, 59k. And roughly 60% of it's already been made, which just shows in the next 10 weeks, he really needs a bumper score of like a 65 or something like that. And then another sort of 70 score really to just bump up that cash generation there. If we look at it then, that's when he starts to actually make his cash generation, and for this 35k to not be as relevant in terms of the overall cash for him. Ted Closey, just annoying that he couldn't get an extended run on. Ed Richards, he's been outstanding this year and really proved it. I don't know what he was exactly sitting on at halftime across both platforms, but he was not on too many, I don't remember, from fantasy perspective. 34 and then 14. He was on 48 at halftime in fantasy, mostly because he'd laid the 4 tackles. And had 10 touches, 4 tackles. So he was on, 5 and 5 ball handballs and kicks, and he'd also kicked the goal as well. That was helping him get to 48. But in the second half, he had a 77, and I think in the third quarter alone, I want to say he had a monster quarter. He had in the third quarter 32 points, but I want to say it was a lot of contested ball, 7 contested possessions at 73% disposal efficiency, and he also, how many goals did he kick in the end? He kicked 2 goals in the end. Don't know if he kicked a goal in the third quarter. No, he didn't. When did he kick his goal? Was it the fourth quarter? Yeah, start of the fourth quarter, and that's why he was so highly rated, because he kicked a goal right to bring it to 4 points or whatever, which pretty much got them back in the back dead even almost, and that's why he had such a good split. 19 contested possessions, 10 clearances, monster game, probably deserves a vote in the loss. But then again, you've got the likes of Max Holmes, you've got Bailey Smith, and you've got Jeremy Cameron, who all probably deserve votes as well. Matt Kennedy just gets his job done. Massively upgraded post-game because he was on, I think, 80 at post-game. So 11-point swing for him post-game was absolutely huge. 3 goals for him, 25 touches. Libba as well, 31 touches, 8 tackles. Again, another good game from him. 18 contested possessions, 9 clearances. Bontempelli, don't think he had the best game, but the good thing for us is he's going to drop in cash and at least start that decline. He did get 5 or so points post-game, which is a little bit annoying. Didn't think he probably deserved that. But as it was on a 102 evens split post-game. But 10 tackles, it's just annoying that he was just doing his role. And we were probably lucky they had an insufficient intent that knocked off about 10 points as well, because that would have been annoying if he was sort of that 102, 120 split in just sort of a poor game. So probably happy about that one as well. Then we get to Tim English, who had some bad free kicks, 3 free kicks in the second quarter. In the last or third quarter. 2 in the third, and then 1 in the last quarter, as well as not being able to physically get to the contest that caused the free kick, that caused the game sealer as well on Tim English. That's not the best. Not the best outlook for him. 48 hitouts on monster of his points, but the clangers there were the real difference maker in terms of his scoring. If he doesn't have the clangers there, especially the back-to-back free kicks, he probably ends up on a 95-105 type of split. Davidson returned to 94 for those that still have him. Buku, Norton, Karma, Sanders as well. Sanders just cannot get involved heavily, which is annoying, but you understand it when you've got Ed Richards, Kennedy, Libba, Bontempelli all ahead of him. Bailey Dale, I thought for a game that he had, I didn't think he deserved at all 80 points. I thought 60 was probably relevant or where he lied. But for him to still average about 114, 115 for those that have him in the last couple of weeks is pretty good. But we'll see if he sort of returns to this 90, 85 type of marker, because if he does, then you haven't really gained much out of getting Dale compared to any other player. Vandermeer, Lobb, Frazier, none of these guys really matter too much, and then no one else here down the bottom matters too much. Don't know. With the Western Bulldogs, they have a bye, and then have the likes of, who do they have post bye? Let me just quickly check here with no, that's not the right team. If we just go to down here and just put like a Bonds or something in, let's just check who do they have post bye, because that'll be they've got Hawthorn post bye, then they've got St Kilda. This will be interesting for the Western Bulldogs, whether you jump on them, etc., because you've got basically Bont and Butters that you need to grab in the next little bit if you want to be competitive. And so it will be interesting to see how you grab those guys in the next couple of weeks, because they're going to drop down in price, because Butters had that 50 odd, Bont's just had 100, which will put him down 30 odd K. So yeah, definitely those two guys could get close to 600k, if not 570, I think was the projected for Butters. So yeah, just a watch on those two post buy, I feel like, because they could be easy ones to just upgrade to and have monster scores there. And that's pretty much the video there. There is a watch as well on Bailey Smith, who has a 10-day break going into West Coast, as he had problems with his shin, and if it wasn't a big game, probably wouldn't have turned up and played, which would have been extra chaos. But anyway, that is the video there. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I guess I will see you guys back here for another video tomorrow, which will have the review of the Essendon Richmond game. I'll see you guys in that video. Bye guys.